Hey guys, so today I've made, I'm making prawn and tortellini pasta dish, and I kind of wanted to make the sauce like a carbonara, but I'm not really a fan of all the fresh cream and all of that, so I kind of did it in a different way. And this will be probably useful to you guys who don't really want to use cream and stuff in your carbonara, and you don't really want it like with all the other stuff in it. So yeah, there's another way of making it. So right now I'm currently obviously chopping up my vegetables, and the vegetables I've added are spring onions, like just a little bit of bell pepper, and I just chopped a little bit of that, and I chopped a bit of onions, so like half an onion, and that was it. So the pasta I'm using is a tomato mozzarella tortelloni, and I'm also using the spinach and ricotta tortelloni as well, and I'm going to mix the two together. So now I am preparing the pasta, so I'm currently boiling it in water, and I kind of boiled it for 5 to 10 minutes. It was meant to be 5 minutes, but it didn't really look all that boiled, so I kind of left it in for a bit longer. And yeah, and now I'm just frying my onions and about to add in my prawns as well. Because I kind of wanted to fry the prawns first so I can season it and saute it with the onions and all the other vegetables to give it a bit more flavour. So yeah, that's what I'm currently doing now. I wanna be down with you, no matter trying, it's true. I wanna be down. So now I've added in the prawns, I am going to start seasoning it, and I start to season it with some herbs, so like oregano or mixed herbs if you have any. I also added that sea salt and rainbow pepper that you saw there, that I showed you, and I added some all-purpose seasoning and some black onion seeds and cumin, and that was it really. It doesn't really need too much seasoning, just a little bit to give it that flavour, that colour, you know, and make it delicious. So after seasoning and frying the prawns, I've transferred it into a different bowl, and I'm going to be using the same pan that I used to make my pasta sauce. And I didn't really want to wash out all the leftover residue from the prawns, because when I use it to make the pasta sauce, it will give it more flavour, and all the flavours from the prawns will go into the pasta sauce, so I didn't really bother washing it. And you don't have to. If you do, then that's your own preference, but you don't have to. And so now I've added in some butter to make my pasta sauce, and I'm currently allowing it to melt. After adding the butter, when I think I've added enough butter, I then go on to add the flour, and that's what I've just added now, and mix it in. So it's kind of like making macaroni and cheese. This is kind of how I make macaroni and cheese, except I add in my onions first. I kind of forgot to do that. But yeah. So yeah, I would add in my onions, then I'll add in my butter, leave my butter melt, add in my flour and mix it in until it gets like a doughy texture. So obviously now it's gone a bit dry, so I'm adding in more butter because I know that I'm making quite a big portion, so I don't want to end up not having enough sauce, so I have to add more butter to make the consistency right. So yeah, so now as you can see it's gone back into its liquidy state. I have to add more flour to make it thicker. Yeah, it's a process. Oh yeah, I thought I added more flour, sorry. But yeah, then I started adding in the milk, and the milk is what makes it nice and creamy and gives it that, you know, cheesy looking, creamy looking colour. So as you can see, it's getting thicker and it's becoming like a paste. So yeah, I just keep on adding milk in gradually till when I think it's enough. So as you can see, I'm not adding in all the milk at once. Like, you just keep on stirring and stirring, and then you look at the consistency and kind of gauge how much milk you need. So yeah, so from here I could see that it's becoming like the amount of sauce that I need. So I then went on to add my cheese, which I'm trying to do now. Yeah. I know. Yeah, so I've added in some cheese, and just then I added in a handful of cheese, like just not even like a handful, like half of a handful, and I just sprinkled it in, and then I'm mixing it again to see the consistency. And because the stove at this point was really hot, I took it off for a bit, or else it would have like overcooked the sauce. So I took it off for a little bit and lowered the heat down, and then I added the rest of my vegetables that you saw me chopping earlier, and added more cheese just to make it more cheesy and the consistency to be much nicer. Over there you saw me adding a bit of water because I realized that it was becoming stringy, and the thing is, you don't want it to become stringy because you're not making macaroni and cheese. You don't want it to all stick together, so I didn't want that to happen, so I added some water to make it more of like a sauce consistency. And yeah, and now I'm just mixing it in. So as you can see now, it's like a gooey texture, and the consistency is quite creamy and cheesy, and it's ready to, like, you can season it. So I seasoned it now with just all-purpose seasoning, and when it comes to seasoning, I just like to add it gradually, and later on if I taste it and I feel like it needs more, I then add more seasoning. But that was all the seasoning I added then. And I'm just going to add in my prawns that I made earlier into the mixture, just to add it before I add in the pasta, because when I add the pasta I don't want to stir it too much, so I'm just going to add in the prawns so now I can stir it in properly. So now I'm adding in the pasta, or the tortelloni pasta, and I'm going to mix it in, but I'm going to try not to mix it in too thoroughly because the kind of pasta it is, it's really fragile. So if you mix it too much, like the filling inside of it will break. So I didn't want that to happen, so I didn't mix it too vigorously. And I just left that there to sit. So now I'm adding in some spinach that I chopped off camera earlier, and this is just to give it some colour, some flavour again, and just to make it a bit more healthy. So now it's basically ready. It's literally basically ready, and that actually looks phenomenal. Phenomenal. Look at that. Look at that. I'm just gonna pop up a bit more. Add a bit more. Mix it in again. Put up the heat a bit now. And I think I'm gonna leave it in there to steam. I'm gonna cover it. Leave it on a medium heat on number 5. Just let it steam for a bit. Guys, it's all finished now. This is the finished product. And where's my spoon? So this is the cheese sauce that I made myself. I'm actually so proud because it freaking tastes bomb. Like, wow. Wow. I'm actually so, okay, it actually tastes bomb. And it just looks amazing. Like, I didn't even want to mess it up, but I feel like I messed it up for you guys because, there we go. So this is like the finished product. The camera does not do it justice. Like, tasting it is even more amazing. It just tastes so bomb. And you could also see the prawns there. You can also bake it in the oven if you wanted to, and then just sprinkle some cheese on top, and then it will come out like a crispy bake. But I thought I might as well try it like this, and maybe whatever's left I'm gonna bake it afterwards. But this is the final product, and yeah, I'm gonna plate it up and show you guys how I garnished it. See ya.
Down for, 'cause when I look at you I feel something tell me that you're the kind of guy that I should make a move on.